Something inside you is out of whack, and no one warned you. Every heartbeat, every irregular breath, is a silent signal that travels through your body, altering what you can create, perceive, or maintain. You feel tightness, anxiety, fatigue, and try to ignore it, believing it's just routine. But each small imbalance is like a grain of sand slipping through your fingers, imperceptible now, but capable of crumbling entire structures when you least expect it. Imagine walking on thin glass. Each step seems secure, until the moment everything shatters. What would you lose if you continued to ignore these signals? What has already slipped away without you realizing it? There's an invisible gap between who you want to be and what your body actually conveys. A silent space where decisions, relationships, and outcomes begin to distort, even when you believe you're in control. But what if there were a way to sense this gap, to align mind, emotion, and body so that every action not only happens but resonates with precision and intention? Imagine feeling it like an electric current coursing through every cell, awakening clarity and presence in the precise moment. Why do most people ignore these vital signs, allowing internal noise to dictate the rhythm of life while the opportunity for transformation slips away? The air that enters and leaves your lungs isn't just oxygen. It's a code, a silent bridge between intention and reality. Each breath carries potential. Each pause contains a turning point. What could you achieve if you learned to listen to and guide this invisible flow before the imbalance becomes visible and irreversible? It's a delicate dance between rhythm and harmony, between chaos and clarity. Only those who perceive the correct cadence can transform noise into signal, hesitation into concrete action, instability into tangible confidence. What if the key to this transformation lay precisely in what you breathe every day, without realizing it? The time to find out is now. You continue to go through your days feeling a slight tension that no one notices, an almost imperceptible pressure in your shoulders, chest, and throat, as if every decision, every thought, is being filtered through an invisible layer of resistance. Every important conversation seems to require more effort than it should. Every routine task seems to drain your energy without warning. It's like walking through a field covered in fog. You see shapes, sense movement, but complete clarity never arrives. And this fog isn't just around. It seeps into you, shaping perceptions, influencing choices, allowing opportunities to slip by unnoticed. Imagine yourself trying to lift something heavy with tired muscles. You apply force, you strain, and yet you feel like you can't completely control the outcome. Your body speaks in subtle signals. Your mind tries to interpret, but often misses nuances that could change everything. This feeling of misalignment isn't your fault. It's a consequence of ignoring the continuous signals your own body sends. Have you ever noticed how small pauses, shallow breaths, or an accelerated heart rate alter your focus, your emotions, and your ability to act with precision? It's in this gap, between what you desire and what you truly feel, that silent mistakes, invisible wear and tear, and results that don't match your intentions emerge. The good news is that this awareness exists and can be cultivated. That's why so many people choose to stay here, following each revelation, each detail that transforms this invisible tension into palpable clarity. Imagine feeling your entire body responding to each decision as if tuned to its own frequency, in harmony with your intention, and no longer subject to scattered noise. But there are still deeper layers of this alignment that remain hidden, waiting to be discovered. Tiny keys that can completely change the way you perceive, feel, and act. And it's in this space that the next discovery begins to unfold, unhurriedly, but with an effect you'll feel before you even fully understand it. As you take each step of the day, there's a tension no one sees, a silent weight that builds in every gesture. It's as if tiny cracks have formed on the surface of a seemingly calm lake. At first glance, everything seems stable, but beneath the water, invisible currents swirl, distorting every reflection, every shadow. You notice the unexplainable fatigue, the anxiety that arises for no apparent reason, the racing heartbeat even when you're not in a hurry. Every shallow breath leaves a trail, an invisible mark that alters your perception, weakens decisions, and creates tiny fractures in the natural rhythm of life. It's strange, almost imperceptible, but with each moment, these micro-disconnections shape your reality silently and irreversibly. Imagine crossing a narrow bridge at night, with a cold wind and hesitant steps. Every sway, every breath can throw everything off balance, even when you think you're safe. Fear and doubt creep in, masking opportunities, hiding solutions that were right in front of you. No matter how hard you try to maintain control, there are subtle forces you haven't yet learned to recognize, impulses that lead your mind and body down unexpected paths. The light of awareness, when it appears, illuminates only part of the scene. The rest remains in shadow, and it is precisely there, in the shadows, that the details that can change everything are hidden. You sense something is coming, a turning point that can transform your entire perception, but you don't yet know how to reach it, nor can you touch the exact point that separates noise from clarity. And even when you manage to glimpse fragments of understanding, the feeling is that there are even deeper, more mysterious, and more powerful layers, ready to be revealed, awaiting the moment when you are finally ready to perceive them fully. And then you begin to realize that this tension isn't just in your body or mind. It seeps into the subtlest moments, into the pauses between thoughts, into choices that seem trivial but carry invisible weight. It's as if each action carries its own shadow, a silent extension of everything you ignore. Imagine walking down an ancient corridor, with light filtering through tall windows, and hearing the echo of your own footsteps. Each sound reveals something you didn't know was there, something that resonates within you and in the spaces around you. You feel your heart tighten, your chest expand, the rhythm of your breathing vary, and you realize that small changes in this flow can alter your entire perception of the path ahead. There are moments of pause, when the world seems to fall silent for a moment, and it is in this silence that the possibility arises to see from a different perspective, to realize that fear and frustration are not absolute enemies, but signs that there is something to be adjusted, harmonized, understood. It's like looking at a reflection in a lake early in the morning. The surface may be rippled by the wind, but just below, the water remains serene, waiting for you to perceive its depth. And it is at this point that many feel the urge to support this journey, leaving a silent signal that the message has touched them, even if only for a moment. Each conscious breath becomes a gesture of alignment, a bridge between what you feel and what is yet to be revealed. Still, there are layers that remain hidden, layers that require more attention, more presence, more sensitivity to be perceived. Something greater is about to reveal itself, something that promises to transform not only the perception of each instant, but the way you inhabit each choice, each moment, each silent space within yourself. And then you realize that everything you feel, every tightness, every hesitation, reverberates far beyond the present moment. It's as if there's an invisible field around you, where each emotion creates silent ripples that affect future decisions, relationships, small details that, at first glance, seem insignificant. You breathe, and realize that even this simple action has an effect. The quality of your breathing alters the intensity of the fear, the doubt, the anxiety that lurks in the shadows of everyday life. Imagine being in a silent room, lit only by a narrow window, and feeling every particle of air move with your rhythm. Each movement reveals tiny tensions you didn't know existed. Each pause is an invitation to feel your own vulnerability. And it is in this contrast that life reveals itself in its fullness. Between pressure and relief, between the fear of losing control and the possibility of creating harmony, there's a fine line that separates chaos from clarity, and you cross it every moment without realizing it. Your mind stirs, emotions intertwine, and your body reacts, silent and perceptive, exposing everything you insist on ignoring. It's like watching a candle in a light wind. The flame flickers but doesn't go out, dancing between shadow and light, revealing nuances that previously went unnoticed. You feel the tension growing, and at the same time, you perceive a faint hope, a silent promise that there is a balance to be achieved, but you don't yet know how to touch the essence of that balance. Something deeper is forming, something that goes beyond what you can grasp now, a layer of understanding that waits only for the exact moment to emerge. And in that moment of expectation, of subtle perception, you understand that there is an invisible force guiding the rhythm of things, something that will reveal itself only when body, mind, and emotions are ready to perceive together. You begin to realize that every small choice, every breath, carries consequences that extend far beyond the moment. It's like walking along the edge of a cliff in fog. The view is limited, the ground unstable, and yet each step defines the direction of the entire path ahead. Fear mixes with possibility, anxiety with hope, and you sense that there are invisible forces shaping each moment, even when you believe you're in control. Imagine an underground river, invisible, flowing beneath your feet, silent yet powerful enough to alter the course of everything above. Every emotion, every thought, every gesture creates ripples in this river, changes you'll only notice much later, when the surface finally reveals the effects that were already forming. And while the cold wind of doubt tries to push you back, there is a breath of presence that gently guides you, almost imperceptible but constant, reminding you that each moment holds the possibility of alignment. It's like watching the sky at dawn. The shadows of night still linger, but the light begins to touch points that were previously hidden, revealing shapes and colors you couldn't see before. There's tension, there's discomfort, but there's also a silent spark of awareness, a bridge between what you fear and what you can create. And even when you feel like you've mastered only fragments of this flow, there's a sense that something deeper is approaching, something that will touch layers you don't yet know exist, and that will transform your perception of the present before you can fully articulate it. It's a suspended breath between shadow and light, between uncertainty and clarity, and you remain there, aware that something greater is about to emerge, but without the horizon opening completely yet. Every choice you make, every conscious breath you manage to hold, begins to reflect not only on you, but on everything around you. It's like throwing a stone into a calm lake. The ripples expand silently, touching shores you never knew existed. Small actions generate subtle, almost imperceptible effects that build strength over time. The effort you make to align body, mind, and emotion doesn't disappear. It finds an echo in decisions that once seemed trivial, in conversations that become clearer, in moments when presence replaces automatic reaction. Imagine a room full of people, each absorbing fragments of energy you transmit. A look, a word, a breathing pattern, and feel how this silent influence creates space for new opportunities, new connections, new results. There is tension in this process, because the body resists, the mind becomes distracted, the natural rhythm is lost. But it is precisely in this contrast between effort and return, between test and result, that strategic perception emerges, that feeling that every detail counts. You notice that sometimes small adjustments produce unexpected, almost magical transformations, as if the universe were responding to a frequency you're still learning to tune into. And as you watch these silent changes unfold, there's an almost inevitable urge to register, to notice, to comment internally. This is working, this is starting to make sense. It's at that moment that you feel the power of your attention, of your presence, and understand that every gesture carries weight and every intention creates ripples. Curiosity intensifies because, even as you perceive the influence of your actions, you sense even greater layers, dimensions of impact that will only be revealed when you further deepen the alignment between what you feel, think, and act. And as this understanding forms, the sensation is that something even deeper is approaching, something that will transform not only your perception but also your ability to shape results and perceive effects that previously went unnoticed. As you observe the subtle effects of your choices, you notice that each conscious gesture begins to create invisible patterns around you. It's as if you're painting with light on a dark space, each brushstroke altering not only the color but also the texture, depth, and shape of what's there. You notice small changes. A conversation flows more naturally, a decision that once seemed complex becomes clear, a moment of silence carries more presence. And yet, there's resistance. The body retains old habits, the mind creates distractions, and the waves of everyday life continue to test your rhythm, reminding you that each step forward requires continuous attention. Imagine walking through a garden at dawn, each flower blooming slowly, each dewdrop reflecting the light differently, and you realize that even small adjustments in the position of a branch or the angle of your gaze completely alter your perception of the entire scene. Hope and challenge coexist. Clarity emerges, but always flanked by shadows that invite vigilance. Each moment becomes a delicate dance between progress and obstacles, between the sense of mastery and the recognition of invisible limits. You feel like you're shaping something greater, that each choice, each conscious breath, creates effects you can't yet fully measure, and that the impact of these small transformations accumulates in layers, forming a foundation for something much deeper. And even with this growing awareness, there are still hidden spaces, zones where movement becomes uncertain, where the light hasn't yet fully reached, leaving a sense of suspense, a silent call to explore deeper before the picture reveals itself in its entirety. It's as if you're standing on the edge of a half-open door. You can already hear echoes of what lies beyond, sense the presence of what's to come, but you can't yet fully pass through. Each moment holds the promise of revelation, and yet it keeps you in a state of anticipation, as if the next breath of understanding could change everything, suddenly and profoundly. And as you progress, you realize that each conscious action reverberates across multiple layers, some so subtle they seem to escape immediate perception, but all shaping the landscape around you. It's like walking through a forest at dusk, where sunlight filters through the treetops and casts ever-changing shadows on the ground. Each step alters the reflection, each movement creates new patterns of light and darkness. You feel your body react, your mind adjust, and yet uncertainty persists. Some parts of the terrain remain hidden, unknown, demanding attention and constant presence. Each step forward carries within it the contrast of what has been achieved and what is yet to come, like a river that flows gently but hides eddies beneath its calm surface. And the more you tune into this flow, the more you notice small transformations. The way you observe others, how you react to unexpected situations, how you notice details that previously went unnoticed. Hope mingles with fear. Trust walks hand in hand with doubt, creating an almost palpable tension, a dance between clarity and shadow. Imagine yourself standing before a horizon where the dawn light touches only part of the sky, leaving the rest in shadow, and you realize that every nuance of color depends on the position you choose to place your gaze, the rhythm of your breathing, the attention you dedicate to each moment. It is in this alternation, in this growing sensitivity, that you feel the weight and beauty of the responsibility to shape your own experience, knowing that each gesture, each sigh, each conscious pause has the power to alter something you cannot yet fully measure. And as you walk this delicate balance, you sense a turning point approaching, a deeper layer about to emerge, bringing revelations that promise to transform not only your perception of the moment, but your entire understanding of what it means to act, feel, and exist in harmony with the invisible flow that surrounds you. And now you finally realize that each conscious breath, each moment of mindfulness, is not just an isolated gesture, but a thread that intertwines past, present, and future. It's like standing on a mountaintop at dawn, watching the light touch each peak, each valley, revealing paths that were previously hidden by the shadow of night. Your body feels light, your mind clear, your emotions tuned. The sense of presence is not only internal, but spreads to everything around you, touching scenarios that previously seemed distant or unattainable. Every challenge you faced, every hesitation, every moment of doubt now becomes a reference, a silent learning experience, composing a melody of experience that only those who have been attentive can hear. The tension that once seemed unbearable gives way to the understanding that the power of transformation has always been within you, waiting for you to notice it and guide it with intention. Imagine walking through an ancient garden, where every flower blooms with unexpected brilliance, every shadow reveals details you hadn't noticed before, and the air carries a fragrance that awakens memories and possibilities. It is in this awareness that you feel privileged, aware of being present in a moment of evolution that few can experience with such intensity. And as you observe all this, you realize that this journey doesn't end here. It expands with every breath, every choice, every moment of attention you dedicate to your own life. This is why so many feel the urge to stay, to comment, to be present, to share this experience, because there is something greater happening, something that silently transforms those who observe into an active part of creation. And so, as the sun slowly rises above the horizon, you understand that the privilege is not just to watch the change, but to make it a part of yourself, breathing consciously, living with presence, feeling that each moment is a unique opportunity to create clarity, harmony, and a real impact on the world around you. It is this sense of belonging, of evolution, of profound discovery that remains with you, even when silence returns, and you realize that the transformation has already begun, and will continue to grow with every breath, with every conscious gesture, with every choice you decide to make.